a new generation built out of his creation. It's our way of life, we're doing right, that's right. Won't you take a little ride on down to the hunting grounds?
Well, today is the day that a lot of you and myself have been waiting for, and it's time to roll and hopefully seal this pond. I've got this roller here. It's got the sheep foots on it. It's a vibrating roller, and I'm hoping that this does the trick. As you can tell back behind me, I've drained the pond over the last week. It's got a little bit of water in the end, but nothing that this thing can't handle. And then we're predicted starting 2 days from now to have a solid week of rain and possibly some flash flooding. So my hopes is, that I have come in here over the last year and a half. I've spread over 8 inches of red clay over this, and I was getting it to hold it. It started self-sealing, and it was holding about 3 or 4 foot on each end and just touching in the middle, but that wasn't good enough. When this thing's full, it's got the capacity to hold up to probably 8 to 10 foot deep. So after looking at different ways and methods to seal it with a pond liner and using bentonite and doing all that, and if you were to do it to the specs that you're supposed to, it was just too costly. And the red clay was starting to seal over time, but I figured why not get in here. I was able to rent this at a way cheaper price than putting in a liner or using the amount of bentonite that I actually need to use for this, and going to roll it and see if this helps seal it. Even if it will hold a foot or two more than average than it has been, and then on top of that start self-sealing, it's a success. So anyway, I have this thing rented for 10 hours, so I get to sit on that vibrating machine for 10 hours a day, because I'm going to use it for every single minute that I can possibly use it to make sure we seal this thing. And we're going to see if this pond seals. So here we go. Getting off of the roller right now. Been on there for about 3.5 hours, and I have done the entire pond way more than once. Since these hillsides are pretty steep, what I've been doing is going straight up and straight back down, and then overlapping about a half of a roll, if not even more than that, and then going back up and back down. So essentially just kind of in doing that, just going around the pond once, everything's kind of been ran over almost twice. Now I have done that, the full area of this pond now twice, and each time that I do that, I'll go up these banks and I'll come all the way down across the bottom and back up So the bottom, where I think I am getting my water to leak out, because I've never seen anything on the back side of the dam leaking out or anything. It seems like once we get more water is when I start losing the water. I think it's because it's pressuring down through the soil. And so by doing that, there is no telling how many times the middle or the bottom of this pond has been rolled. Then I've come back in 2 or 3 times and just specifically rolled the bottom, crisscrossing and going every which direction, and it's done really good. The areas are starting to dry up really good. Even this area up here that had a little bit of moisture still in it has really packed well. You can see the divots here. I mean, this has been ran over probably 50 times so far today, and you can see this last divot's already about a ½ inch down from there. So it's really doing its job, and I'm hoping I can seal the bottom of this, but I am working the edges as well. So 3.5 hours. I got 10 hours of rent time on that thing. I don't know if I'm going to make it, you know, because honestly I'm just killing time on there, but it's doing a really good job. Tons of frogs in here, but we'll see. I'll get on there and run it at least a few more hours, maybe make it to that 6-hour mark, and then hopefully it's just more than good enough. So it is looking good. I'm happy with the way it's turned out, and it's not been bad at all. It's done really well. The scariest part of the whole ordeal is right here in these rocks. You can kind of see them, whoa, flying around there. There's a wasp nest in there that I stirred up, and those things were not liking me, but looks really good from here. A couple more hours on it, I'll be done. Well, it is official. The pond is done being rolled, and it's done a great job. I was going to go overboard. I told you guys I had this thing for 10 hours, and if I'm going to rent it for 10 hours, I'm going to use it for 10 hours to make sure that I kind of overkill it when I am rolling this thing. And even though I only went 6 of the 10 hours, I believe I overkilled it. There's probably not a spot out here that wasn't touched at the least 20 plus times. Worked this thing over and over and over, and I wish I had somewhere that I had measured to see the compaction beforehand, because I can clearly tell that it's compacted. Even on the banks where it was more dry up on the banks, you can tell it really compacted. It kind of looks loose on some of it, and that's just the very top. You move any of that dirt, or you get up there where one of the shoes have printed on the last run, and it is super solid. So my goal was to seal the bottom of this thing, because I think that's where, like I said, it was leaking out. I think once it fills up enough, it was pressurizing out, because I've never found water on the back side of this dam or anything like that. So I think it's going to seal it. So like I said, at the worst case scenario, if it holds like a foot or 2 more than it has been holding, I'm a happy camper, and it will start just self-sealing after that. But if it seals almost to its full capacity after this, I am going to be super, super happy. But there you go. This was like the most cost-effective way that I could really find to hopefully try to seal this pond. It's up on the ridge top. It was already here. We just made it bigger, and it wasn't holding water before, so we decided to let's go the cheapest route. Got some red clay in here, and I was able to rent that roller right there for 10 hours and somewhere around 850 bucks or so, something like that. If you do it on a weekend, you can get it for 12 hours for the same price, but I knew I could get it done at this time. Plus we have a lot of rain coming this weekend, and I didn't want to have to get the pump and drain this all again, because that was a process in itself, draining this thing out. It had about 3 or 4 foot in each end, and even though you're thinking, oh, it's just 3 or 4 foot, there was a lot of water. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. I look forward to showing you guys the results of this as we start getting the rain this weekend. We're going to get it for a solid week is what they're saying. So I want to keep you guys updated on the results. Comment down below if you've tried something similar to this, or if you've done something else. You know, we've talked about bentonite, we've talked about laying a lining in here and everything, but this is the best cost-effective way that I could find, and I'm hoping it works. So anyway, if you guys would give a big thumbs up, and until next time, have a better than average day.